if we want to preserve our academic programming, we're going to have to begin by closing one of the 3 new elementary schools for a savings of approximately $570,000. Again, to preserve academic programming, we could then eliminate all extracurricular activities. That means every sports team and every after-school activity for a savings of approximately $231,000. Those cuts, all after-school activities and sports, closing one elementary school, only get us $738,000 worth of cuts, meaning we have $462,000 that we would still have to cut. If we go one step further and eliminate middle school band, high school chorus, and the strings program, we would save $110,000. We're still looking at $350,000 left of cuts. That brings us to 5 or 6 teaching positions at the high school that we would have to eliminate. And I am certain that if we did that, we would be open to legal action for violating the basic education program mandated by the state. That is why it's so important for people to look at this list of potential reductions and understand what it means for the school department to get $1 more for a second year in a row. If that happens and we cut $1.2 million, the town will no longer have a school system that we can be proud of.
This is all true what you said, but at the same time, we have to be aware that even if we get the cap, and we do not get concessions from the union, we will be in the same position of cutting the programs, not to this extent, but we will still be cutting programs because, according to your numbers, now closing the elementary school does not result in a net savings of $500,000. To us, yes, but not to the town. And we are part of this town, so we cannot count that this is $500,000 savings. It's truly $250,000. And so, I know.
Can I?
Only one problem.
Can I ask the chair to just take action on my recommendation for the reductions? At least we can get that.
It's a pretty easy one because it does not impact the students. So, do I have a motion to approve the reduction as indicated by the superintendent? So this will be eliminating 2 full-time special education positions and reduction of 2.8 special education teaching positions.
Teacher assistant.
Teacher assistant positions. Do I have a motion to do that?
Motion to approve the reduction.
Mrs. Herman, Mrs. Coulter, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Could I just, thank you. Could I just make a comment regarding the budget?
Please.
There's been a lot being said out on the airwaves and being put down in print about how the school department has hidden money. And I want to, it's simple. The monies that are, quote, hidden or found or this great revelation that people have had, we're talking about Title I monies, which have been around since 1965, when the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was passed. The second group of monies that are restricted are IEP money or special education money, which has been around since 1974 when the Individuals with Disabilities Act was first passed. These funds have always been available to the school department because they're restricted. They are not to be included. If people took the time to look at how those funds are to be used, and you can go online and punch in history of Title I and IDA, and you can find out how those funds are to be used. It's restricted and not to be used as far as operational aid, not to be calculated in that manner. And for people to represent that myself, Mr. Fiore, and this committee has hidden money or done something nefarious is simply untrue, inaccurate, And as I said before, I will challenge anyone to a debate on how our budget was made, where our numbers came from. I'll have the discussion anytime, anywhere, any place, as long as it's filmed by a third party, so the people in this town can see for themselves who's being honest and straightforward. I'm not going to tolerate, I'm not going to allow my reputation to be sullied by people with hidden agendas, and, you know, when you don't have the truth on your side, you throw up a lot of smoke and mirrors. And that's what's going on here. And people in this community need to know that our numbers have always been accurate. If anyone had problems with our numbers, we meet every other Tuesday, right here in this room. And people could have come forward, can come forward and ask us anything. And to sit there and throw cheap shots at us and not come and direct your questions to us, I think that speaks to the motives of people who are making those unfounded allegations. And enough is enough. We can agree on negotiations not going as well as we want, this, that, and the other thing. But to say that we're hiding money or that we're doing something illegal is absolutely absurd. And I challenge anybody to come forward and show us how we're hiding money. And that this is newfound money and it can be used in calculations. You know, you have people on the budget committee who are using dollar amounts for the funding formula to inflate the number, and the funding formula is not even being considered. This has to stop. People need to know what's going on. It's a fact. That's the truth. That funding formula isn't even being looked at.
And RIDE has told us not to use it.
And RIDE has told people, Carolyn Dias was adamant about it. They sent out just papers saying, use the governor's number, which we have used. And that's what one of the things that RIDE's going to be looking at when they look at that whole number. But to say we're hiding numbers and that we're misleading the public, let's have that discussion and debate. I know the committee would like to have that discussion as well as I would. I'll have it anytime, anywhere, any place.
I would like to emphasize that those restricted funds flow through the municipal side.
That's correct.
The town treasurer sees them. They are included in every yearly audit.
That's
so
correct.
I don't see how they can be considered hidden when they're in every yearly audit.
You can go.
Also, the town handles their restricted funds in the same way. They're not considered part of the operating budget.
And RIDE has it on their website. It takes 5 minutes to click, and you can see the amount of Title I funds, IEDA money. I mean, this isn't something new to people. And to portray it as something other than what it is just misrepresenting the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Reddick, for making this statement on our behalf. I 100% agree with what you said. This is dishonest to make these kind of statements because at least through, as I remember, for all the 4 years on this committee, we were never trying to hide any money, and we were more than forthcoming with any information anyone ever requested, so I don't know where is the statement coming from that we are trying to hide Title I money.
Part of the statement is coming from the fact that people have explicitly asked for all available state and federal funds that have come to the school committee. And regardless of whether they are used to calculate the numbers, they should be on there and written that.
With all due respect, who's asked it besides Mr. Lambert? We provided that information to him. The budget committee has never asked for that information.
I believe that
Mr. Lambert asked it, we provided it.
Whenever anybody has asked
I've seen a
Mr.
letter
Fiore
from the
for
budget
any
committee.
information, Mr. Fiore has always supplied it. And if you've heard that somebody emailed him or called Mr. Fiore and asked for information and did not receive it, I would not believe it, because he is always quick to respond to any request for
I agree with anything that I've
information.
asked him of, but I have seen a letter that they requested information of any and all, and it wasn't included on our budget that we submitted. And so they were concerned about that.